We'll move to item 7, which is our Woodman Center update.
President Benson, I'm Jennifer Petrozello, Neighborhood and Community Services Director. It's my pleasure tonight to introduce you to individuals you've seen here many times before over the last 5 years, but our fabulous partners with the Friends of the Woodman Center. We have the Friends co-chair and executive committee members, Christine Rebout and Larry Squire, and project manager Sabrina Syker-Bowerman here to provide the Woodman Center update from a Friends of the Woodman Center perspective, including an update on their fundraising activities and community engagement. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Christine.
Jennifer and I should be a little well-oiled machine by now. We've been a lot of work together. Again, I'm Christine Rebout, chair of the Friends of the Woodman Center, and again, being joined by a couple partners that are also going to present later. We're going to start with a thank you. Any of our success as the Friends Group is really based on community partnerships, and that includes city staff and you as council. All of our success is really due to that dedication and commitment that the community makes. So that is the most important thing we'll say tonight is thank you to all of you. We're also going to talk a little bit about fundraising advancements and milestones, and Larry will step up and help with that. We'll also talk about community engagement, stakeholder engagement, and a little bit about our future and how we're here with you for the long haul of the project. We're going to start with just a little bit of a review of what we've been working on in 2023 and a little bit about, again, who we are and what we work on. In 2023, we just took this incredible journey on moving the project forward, and that included the Friends of the Woodman Center becoming a 501c3 organization. So again, our commitment is to fundraising, stakeholder engagement, and ongoing support of the Woodman Center. We launched woodmancenter.com website, which is chock full of information on the project and is updated constantly. We have a weekly blog and an e-newsletter to keep people informed. If you're not part of that list, we encourage you to sign up, and if you don't know how, just grab me and we'll get you signed up. We also have social media accounts in Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn, so keeping all of those people aware of the project, keeping them with updates, information, visuals, and answering constant questions from those groups. We also initiated a micro fundraising campaign, and Together We Can, and through those $10,000 pledges, we easily reached over $500,000 in Together We Can pledges, giving an opportunity for people in all levels to make those pledges. We also launched the You Ask Friends Answer campaign in 2023, where we answered community questions on our social media accounts. So whatever questions arose, we had people come in that were experts on those issues and answered those questions. We received that transformative $1 million anonymous donation, which was really an opportunity to fund those local team locker rooms. We continued sharing the information renderings and the virtual tour of the project through our social media channels, and we increased project awareness with presentation and meetings across Rock County, including places like the Edgerton Rotary Club, meetings with local high school leaders, and prospective sponsors. We've kept Sabrina on the road doing plenty of presentations for us. We also invite all of you to keep, in tune with us and enjoying those projects as we move forward. Now I'm going to let Larry come up and share a little bit of those financial details of the project.
All right, good afternoon. We're at a pretty exciting spot with our fundraising right now. And the number that you see right up there, we hit 9.4 million. And what I'll say is, and that's low, because I know there's another 350 out there that I don't have signed pledges for that is on the way. So we're at over 9.5 million right now in pledge commitments by the community. And that does not include anything for the land that's been donated by the mall out there. This is straight dollars that will go into the project. And our original 5 years ago, or whenever we started this journey, we had a target of raising 7 million. So we've gone from a target of 7 million to now a current 9.5, inching towards 10 million. And we still do not have someone on Arena B for that. And who knows where that can go. But the goal here is that we're not going to stop. As has been said a couple times from Christine and Jennifer, this is a go-forward project. Even when contractors awarded and we got this thing being built and everything, we're going to be collecting money over a 5-year period. And we're going to continue to fundraise over that period of time because those dollars go to the project. That is the key in this thing. We are going to have to hold a few dollars back because Friends 501c3, we're going to have audit costs. We have a few project costs going into it, so we have to hold a few dollars back. But $9 million or better will be hard funds going from the private sector into this project when we go forward. And, you know, you can look up there, $3 million from Woodman's, $1.5 million Mercy, the Anonymous, Kennedy, and a couple of facts on this, just to give you comfort in that $9 million and how real that $9 million is. First, you can see there's 5 million, almost 6 million right there just in the first 4 people, okay? 6 million in the first 4. We were gonna get 7, we got 6 out of 4. The top 14 donors that have pledged $100,000 or more account for just under 8 million of that 9.5. So if you talk about are these dollars real or whatever, 14 donors have committed $100,000 or more, totaling just under 8 million of that 9.5. This is real, and these are people that are committed to our community and are going to make it happen. You know, I take this and compare it to what we did with Arise Now and then even some other fundraisers in the community. I've been around doing this for a while, and I have to say I have a high level of confidence in these pledges, in these donations. I'm not aware of any project that has been funded through the private sector that has had any significant loss, you know, any donor fatigue, where after they've made their donation, they've pulled back. And I'll say Arise Now, we got $6 million pledged. We collected $6 million. And so if you want a recent example in a project that is a public-private partnership and what the public sector committed to and delivered, that's probably the best example I have and what took place with it. So we're excited about where this is going. Like I said, there's still some, you know, room where some people are waiting for, you know, the next vote and the next thing. But they know that this project is going to take a block of time to commit. It's going to take a block of time to get up and running. And so we'll continue to, you know, do that fundraising and fill in those dollars where we can and make this project even more successful. Any questions on where we're at right now or source and activity with the dollars?
Thank you so much, Larry. It's incredible. Thank you.
I do want to, again, my name is Sabrina Seiker-Bauerman. I'm the project manager for the Friends of the Woodman Center. And I'd like to echo what Christine said about gratitude from the public-private partnership and just dozens and dozens of organizations. Like Christine mentioned, I've been out in the community. I spoke to, you know, our Golden K Kiwanis Club down to youth sports folks here in the Rock County area, and they're all equally excited about this project, and they all have strong questions to ask about this project, and we've been there every step of the way answering those questions and getting as much information as we can out to the public. Most recently, we hosted our a community engagement event on December 31st. We celebrated New Year's Eve at the Janesville Ice Arena. It was a free community event hosted by the Friends in the city of Janesville, in partnership with Glitz and Glow, who provided a New Year's Eve balloon drop, which was really fun. All the kids went home with handfuls of balloons. And also Janesville Youth Hockey helped at the event. They ran the concession stand, made sure everyone had hot chocolate and popcorn and all the things the community needed to have a good time. With that event, I got to, you know, I was on ice skates for 2 hours straight, so I get credit for that because I haven't been on ice skates in 10 years. But I got to talk to a lot of people that were there that day. And one of the stories that has really stuck with me, I've shared with my team, I want to share with you today, is I talked to a mother and her son. And he was like about 3.5. And I asked her, how did you hear about this event? She said, well, I just Googled, you know, New Year's Eve celebrations in the area, and I came across you guys. And that's thanks to the outreach that the Friends have done and the city has done, where we've created the base of having a social media page and having a Facebook page where people can go to find this information. A couple years ago, you know, this didn't exist. That would have been a lot harder without the groundwork that the Friends have laid. So that story really stuck with me, that we made that 3-year-old's day and his mom's day by having a free place to go where they can celebrate their community and have fun. Also wanted to touch base a little bit more to what Christine mentioned about our community support and how it continues to grow. We have 1,100 followers on our Facebook who are very engaged with us in that social media community. We also have an Instagram page. We have dozens of blog posts on our website that go out as an email and also live on our website. And we've had thousands of impressions. Most recently, we had a post of a year in review, which really goes into detail on some of the things that Christine highlighted earlier. And if you want to support this project financially and haven't yet found an opportunity, anyone can go to our website now. If you're at home listening to this, it's www.woodmancenter.com. There's a Donate Now button. It connects you to the Community Foundation of Southern Wisconsin website, where you can donate any amount of money to the Woodman Sports and Convention Legacy Fund. And that's live now.
We'll just wrap up our remarks again with a thank you for the honor of partnering. We're working in depth with city staff, and it's truly been a privilege and an honor. You know, you do difficult things together and you really bond and grow as a team. So this partnership has truly been an honor to work with. Even the tough stuff is more fun and more palatable when you have a team that's working hard and knows the value of what you're moving forward. So we also want to commit to that future ongoing partnership. And people might say, well, what does that look like? We're not exactly sure. We're going to work on that together. But some examples of what we'd like to do in that ongoing partnership is things like financial support in the form of scholarships. The Friends of the Woodman Center could provide scholarships for users of the facility that meet certain criteria that are set. Other potential include funding future enhancements to the facility. We can also help continue those stakeholder relationships and some of those community continuing partnerships. And again, as Sabrina said, I'd be remiss if I didn't remind you all, there's still an opportunity to donate. We wouldn't be a good friends group if we didn't remind you of that opportunity right on the website to donate or pledge. Any of us are happy to answer questions now from the council.
I think Councilmember Jackson had a question for Mike Payne. They're getting off tonight, Mike.
All right. Mike Payne, Public Works Director.
Two questions. First of all, would you go over the timeline, just starting with what happens at our next council meeting and go forward for a couple of months? What are the big items on the timeline? Then I have a follow-up.
Sure. Okay. So we recently opened bids before the end of last year, and so we'll be coming forward in 2 weeks at the next council meeting on January 22nd, and we'll be presenting to the council the 3 bids that were opened for this project, and we will be asking the council to take action and consider awarding of a construction contract, Public Works construction contract. If the council awards the contract that evening in 2 weeks, we would be working with the apparent low bidder, who is JP Cullen from Janesville, and they would be securing their subcontractor contracts for this project, getting their insurance and bonding in place, and they would start putting together their plans for project rollout. I would expect by the end of, probably the middle to end of February, that they would be mobilizing to the site with some security fences and preparing to start the demolition of the vacant Sears building that's on the site at Uptown Janesville. Once that happens, the activities for the winter that I would anticipate would be building demolition, utility relocation, and starting with some foundations for the project. And then starting in spring, I would expect there would be additional work where the building could start going vertical. The construction for the exterior shell should be fairly quick because it's concrete precast panels. And so this winter is a good opportunity for the contractor to work on those foundations that will support those tip-up walls that would be fabricated basically in a lab, in a manufacturing facility, trucked to the site, and then erected by the contractor. Once that happens, we expect that the construction could be about 15 months. So we would expect that we would have substantial completion probably by May of 2025. And then we would expect that we would move in all of the owner-provided furniture, fixtures, and equipment and relocate to the facility and get occupancy of the facility probably in July of 2025 in anticipation of the hockey season starting around September.
Thank you, Mike. Excellent, and I appreciate your wealth of information as usual. My follow-up question is, when will the various sources of money be released for the project? The 15 million from Madison, the federal, the Friends group, and their 9+. When will we see that money in relationship to the timeline that you just allowed?
Sure. If I could, I would like to defer that to Jennifer, who's been working on that, and she's going to be bringing forward a couple of agreements for the council to take a look at that would help explain that information.
Thank you.
The $5 million federal appropriation has been secured, and we have that under agreement with the federal government. Funds will be provided to us on a reimbursement basis after construction begins on the project. We are nearing the final stages of agreement with the state of Wisconsin for their 15 million allocation, and we'll be bringing that forward to the city council at your meeting on January 22nd. For review and approval. That agreement will also be providing the funds to the city on a reimbursement basis, and they will allow for quarterly reimbursement requests. So our anticipation is that those grant funds will be used early in the project.
I know that there was a problem initially with the 15 million. It looked like it was going to happen. The governor was here, presented a big check, and then there was a period of uncertainty. And then we were again assured of the 15 million. Is this a done deal, yes or no?
Yeah, this is a commitment from the state of Wisconsin. The working through the grant agreement is really more a formality, a very standard agreement in place that includes the typical type of funding, reporting requirements, and outlining their scope and expectations from us in providing the dollars. But the only thing left is for the city council to approve of that agreement, which will be just a couple weeks away.
And the Friends money?
And the Friends money, I don't know, Kevin, do you want to speak?
I can address
speak
that.
to that one?
So the Friends money, we actually are working on an agreement on that as well, about how those funds will come into the project as well. And we have, we've tentatively planned a council workshop for February 1st to talk about the funding, the complete funding of the project, to give you options of how that would look.
So going forward, these are, if I can use the word, guaranteed monies. We're going to allocate bids, we're going to act, we're going to secure contracts, we're going to demolish the building because we have the money.
Yeah.
Those are
Correct.
questions I'm being asked.
Yeah.
I'm just asking for clarification's sake.
Yeah, that's correct. All the funds have been secured.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Any other questions? Councilmember Miller?
When you talk about, Jennifer, I don't walk too far away. When you talk about reimbursement, what are the parameters or what are the restrictions that are put upon us? Because there's no way the federal government or the state is going to just hand over a check without some strings attached. And we don't know what those strings are. So I'm just wondering, are those going to come about so that the public kind of knows what our requirements are for use of that money?
They can. There's full disclosure right now in terms of what those requirements are. They're very typical of what's required when you enter into an agreement with the federal government for any of their grant and funding sources. It outlines a general scope of work, which describes the project that we are agreeing to construct in the community. It outlines our budget, and it outlines those items that their funds can be utilized for. And under both cases, we're looked at the grant funding to support direct construction costs of the project. So they have already reviewed and approved the budget and are in agreement with that. Other items relative to federal and state funding are sometimes fall under a broad umbrella of other federal requirements or other state requirements, and they're things that the city does on a regular basis, like non-discrimination clauses, making sure that we are following procurement policies, which we are, making sure that there are specific state or federal certifications that are included into contracting documents and those things. And we've already included those in our bidding packages, and we'll include those in our contract.
Okay.
So there shouldn't be any surprises.
Okay. And that will come to us after the building, is it turnkey? I mean, as a reimbursement, we have to pay for that first and then they're reimbursed to the city?
We have to make a payment. It's not at the end of the project. So as we make progress payments to our construction contractors, we will be able to request reimbursement for those funds on an ongoing basis throughout the project. Generally, you submit, proof that you've made your payments and that those payments have cleared, and descriptions from the contractors on what those costs are, and provide other information to show your funding agency that you are making progress in the project and using those funds as intended.
And I have another question, and I don't know if this is a Friends Group question or maybe you can answer it. In terms of the money coming from the Friends Group, when will those funds be available? Is it during construction? Is it after construction? Is it prior to construction? And when are we going to see a contract that kind of outlines those parameters?
I mean, I can address it. So we're actually working on the draft of the contract right now. I reviewed the draft today, and that's going to be coming to the council in association with, I think we have 6 agreements that are coming for the council to approve. And so those funds will come in. The first one will come in, and as it's outlined right now, in one a larger contribution at the front end and then throughout the course of the project as well.
Is it pretty typical to have all of these contracts coming at the same time where we're asked to approve the contractor contract? I mean, I feel like we don't have things in place to make that happen.
I think that we have been working on the project for a number of years, and so the bids came in as we expected. The council had already previously approved up to $17.5 million. It's going to be less than that, and so these are all of the functions of moving forward with the project. And it's not, I wouldn't say it's typical because we used to have multiple funding sources, but a grant agreement with the feds, a grant agreement with the state, an agreement with the Friends Group to transfer those funds is all part and parcel with the project moving forward.
City Manager Lehner, do you expect that all of those contracts would be approved at the next council then? Is that what you anticipate?
I don't know if it'll be the next council. It'll be over the course of the next several meetings. So there's several ones that are coming forward.
This is a question maybe for Mr. Godek. Does the city have the money in hand to pay this $38 million expense?
Good evening, City Council. Dave Godek, Finance Director. No, we don't have $38 million sitting around to pay expenses. But as Jennifer indicated, on reimbursable grants, you don't have to pay the entire amount and then get reimbursed. We would get reimbursed as we have expenses. So it's very similar to what we do with the transit system. If you think about the transfer center, that was a large project that we had to cash fund kind of that first installment. And then Steve in the finance office did a wonderful job of providing the Department of Transportation all of the documentation that they want, and they are very persnickety about their documentation at DOT. So I'm confident that we can provide the documentation that the state wants because we make the DOT happy. And so as that first payment came in, then we had funds to make the next payment for the transfer center. And eventually that project closed up and we got the last reimbursement, and so we were made whole. And so do we have the funds on hand in order to make those initial payments? Yes, absolutely.
And this came from a question that was brought to me. Would the city be in a predicament to secure bridge financing or a construction loan to cover any city liability until the city has financing lined up through a contract?
We're not in a position where we're gonna need bridge financing, no.
Given the potential for a change in council in April, would those contracts be approved or anticipated approved before the council changes?
I'll let Kevin take that one.
I would imagine they will be brought to the city council when they're ready. And so, and they're all been in motion for quite some time. So I would imagine that most all of them will be approved by then.
I'm sorry if it sounds like I have a lot of questions. I do. This is in regards to the JACVB. When we're talking about marketing manpower with respect to offsetting the operational losses of the facility, when will we see a contract for that? Because I believe we were talking about 5 years donating toward that from the JACVB. I'm wondering when we'll see a contract for those dollars.
I've been working with Christine and the JACVB on that agreement as well, and that will be on your agenda in 2 weeks. But it basically puts their letter of commitment that they had shared previously that had been unanimously approved by their board into an agreement format.
And do you have the manpower to do that? Because I know in the plan, it recommends one thing, 4 or 5 people. We don't have that manpower in JACVB.
We will be adding 1 staff person. We'll be expanding our sales department, which was something we had planned on previous to the pandemic. Took that little pause, weren't adding staff, but we will add additional sales staff. We currently market to not only leisure travelers, but group markets, meetings and conferences, and that sporting market. So we'll break those apart, and we will be adding 1 additional staff person, which we had planned on previously.
Okay. And of course, the new Jets contract, when will that be coming across the council as well, since we revised the liquor license holder information?
City council has already approved the Jets lease and agreement, so that has been executed and.
I think the city was not able to hold the liquor license.
Yeah, we're still reviewing that information, and we have more than a year and a half to address that issue.
Council Vice President Marshak.
I just have a comment. I wanted to express gratitude also, the 3 of you and that whole Friends group working tirelessly over however many years it's been, I don't even remember. There were several times where it would have been easy to say, yep, we hit a brick wall, we're done. You guys battled through that. I really appreciate that. This is a transformational project, and that Friends group is who drove that and got us this close to the finish line. So thank you as well.
Yeah, I want to echo that. Bringing in, with the outside funding, $30 million of outside money to the city is just, it's dumbfounding. So thank you for your hard work. Councilmember Burdick.
Yeah, I just want to echo that, the work that you guys done has been impressive. I don't want anybody to think that this is adversarial as far as some of these questions that are being asked about contracts and things like that. So it's information that we need so that we can make the best decision possible. So, thank you.
Any other questions? Okay. Thank you so much.